Hi, welcome to Community Connections, brought to you by the Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation. My name is Jane Powell, and I am happy you're with us today. My guest for today is from Families Leading Change. She is the statewide director, Jenny Anderson. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I'm so glad you're here.
Good to be here.
I have so many questions, and the first one is, tell us about Families Leading Change.
Okay, so Families Leading Change is a movement to engage parents and students and any family member, that wants to get involved in schools and have that voice in the schools. So that could be through projects and programming, or even changing a policy in a school.
So I think this isn't obvious, but tell us, why is it important for families and students to have a voice in the school system?
Well, I think, recently, I don't think that the voice of parents has been heard as much as it used to. Maybe when you and I were growing up, and PTOs were very, very involved, and they're still involved.
That's right,
but
I remember those. Yeah, everybody went.
Exactly. So, and it's hard to get parents to come to those, PTA meetings or parent group meetings. So this is and a lot of it, I think, is because parents don't know how to start, or how, what is going on in the school, whether that's because of communication, lack of communication, or what. But it's important, because it's their kids, it's our kids, and for us to have that voice in the schools is very important. And that goes for the students. I mean, they're the VIPs of the whole school system. So it's really important to us at Families Leading Change that we engage those parents and families, students, and we also empower them with knowledge about how to start projects and programming in school, and also, like I said, change policy, whether it's on the county level or all the way to the state level.
So you teach them how to communicate with the schools, is that right?
Yes. It's very intimidating sometimes as a parent or even a student when you go in and you're sitting in front of a principal or even a teacher sometimes.
Because it's the principal.
Exactly, right, the captain of the ship. So, and if you are, say, a parent or a student that has an issue that you're concerned about, often sometimes there's this, perception of, there's the schools, here's the parents, and, often these meetings don't end well because parents kind of fired up about something that's happening, and typically, the schools will be on the defensive, or it might be vice versa, the parents are on the defensive. We kind of give those parents and students, kind of basic communication skills of how to kind of get a positive outcome with the conversation and not go in all fired up, just really know the policy that exists, whether it's in the school or county or state, and just really teach them, to talk to them as, we're all humans, and that's, I think, because we look at, administration sometimes, or even teachers as higher or whatever. We kind of teach the parents and students that we're all on the same level. We're really there for the same reason. We're trying to help kids. We're trying to, raise these kids together, to make a better school environment.
Well, you gave me an example earlier of mock, conversations that you were setting up.
Yeah. I
thought that was so interesting.
Yeah, so I'm a believer that hands-on is really one of the best ways to educate kids. We had a little exercise at our summit this past September, where we had parents were sitting at tables in groups, and then in the front of the room we had tables there was a table with school officials, principals, and teachers, and then we had a table of your county officials, your board members, elected and not elected, and then you had a table where you had state legislators sitting there and people that work with state policy. So these parents and students would sit at the tables. They kind of brainstorm on what would they like to see changed in a school, and they talked it out, and then went to those tables, whatever was relevant to their issue, whether it was school, state, county, and role played. So it went very well. I think both sides had, not only was it educational, but it was fun for them to actually sit down and talk to them one-on-one, as they were all humans. It was like they were shocked. Oh wow, they will talk to us. Yeah. So it's almost like when you go into a room and You don't know who's a doctor, who's a lawyer, who's you know, what. You know, you're all wearing the same T-shirt, you know, so, and this is kind of what that was, is it wasn't as intimidating as walking into an office and talking to someone.
Well, and I'm sure they got great feedback about how to have a conversation.
Yeah, they helped them troubleshoot some of the issues, and were able to tell them a policy that existed and what that meant, and they asked questions very comfortably, and it was a really great experience.
So when a family has come together and is working with the school and they're ready to create a project, there are lots of steps in that, and one of them is a budget.
Right, right. That's another thing, like we can teach them how to do that budget. We offer mini grants to these families and parents, students, and we just, what we want to do is get them to get their foot in the door and learn how to write a grant. So we give them mini grants, and it's a very simple application compared to some of what you would think is a grant application, some of those bigger ones that are out there. But we break it down for them in parent language so they understand it better, and teach them, you know, we talk about how to do the budget. We did a little webinar on this for them before they came to the summit in September. We taught them what SMART goals are, you know, how to like make it sustainable once they do a project. So there's a lot of things that go into, you know, different steps of grant writing, and we try to kind of really educate them on how that works. So,
and the students are working along with you doing this.
Yes, so we have students anywhere from really, we had some 5th graders that have actually applied for grants.
Wow.
We just awarded 56 mini grants.
56?
56 mini grants to school parent or student-led projects in West Virginia in 29 counties.
29 counties.
29 counties.
56 grants in 29 counties. And you are a fairly new organization.
Right. We're only about a year old. You know, everything has kind of led up to the mini grant process because that was what we wanted to start with, was giving parents and families, students, you know, that seed money, if you will,
Yep.
you know, to start a program or a project. It could even be starting an actual parent group in a school if they don't have a PTO or a PTA, or a circle of friends group or parents group, you know, and give them those skills to know how to do that. You know, some people, when, you know, if they're all of a sudden in the role as a leader and they've never facilitated a meeting, then it's, you know, to give them the skills on how to even write an agenda is helpful for them, and give them that, you know, the confidence to go about doing it. So,
well, because I'm guessing that some of these parents and, of course, the students have never been in formal meetings.
Right, right.
So
So
the
it is,
structure.
again, it's intimidating. It's, you know, where do I start? So what we do on the website is actually, we have a website, and the website actually gives them how-tos on how to do these things, how to facilitate a meeting, how to start a Girls on the Run program, or a garden program, or a STEM program in their school, step by step. And these are all how-tos that were put together by parents in West Virginia. So it's not coming from like the top up, it's coming from the bottom up, you know, where these were just parents like you or me, and they're just trying to make a difference in a school.
So you mentioned you had a 5th grader working on. What ages does Families Leading Change cover?
Right, so typically, it can be anyone. We want people anywhere from just stepping into the school, you know.
But would you be in an elementary school?
You
Would
can
be
be
in a
in
high
elementary-
school?
You could, any school.
Any school.
Typically 5th grade's kind of where they start developing those leadership skills. But I mean, if there was a 3rd grader, and we have a project in McDowell County, and the students came up with it, and we have, it's adult facilitated, but its students are actually leading it, and they've come up with a community mini grant or mini golf course that involves STEM, and these were elementary school kids.
And
that
when you
had
say
these ideas.
STEM, I think we should just clarify
Yeah.
what STEM is.
So science, technology, engineering, and math.
Yes, I think.
And sometimes the word A is added in there with art or music, and which is great too, because we all want to see related arts, art, music, and of course even PE, you know, stay in the school.
Right.
So, you know, a lot of these projects that we funded have to do with that as well.
Wow. So they've presented the project, and they have a little budget to start with. And this is not a big budget. This is
Right.
a very manageable seed money
Right, right.
to begin with. You don't just turn them loose.
No, no.
I'm guessing there's some guidance there.
Yes, yes, there is. Because we know that these are first-time, you know, parents and students stepping into this role. So we give them a helper, and that could be one of our staff members. It could be a volunteer that's maybe in that community where the parent is, or just someone that has some knowledge on how to kind of guide them. There's no control. The parents are in the lead position, the students are in the lead position, so they're running this project or program, but if they need help, guidance, how to leverage funds or how to talk to somebody in their community to get them on board as a partner, we're there to help them.
Wow, it's just really, and the fact that it's statewide and that you've been able to do this in your first year, I can just imagine the growth that's going to happen. Tell us about some of the things that are coming up.
Yeah, so policy, of course, in the mini grant, we ask them to, if the parents can talk to their school or their county board or their even go to the Capitol. So one of the things that's coming up that we'd like to see a lot of these mini grant teams do is Healthy Kids, Healthy Families Day, and it is at the Capitol in Charleston on January 23rd. And it invites them to come and actually talk to their delegates in their community or districts, and we can help them get there. We can actually help organize or arrange those meetings, and they can talk about policies that they want to talk about or issues in the schools, and then also have a lot of fun. There's a lot of things for them to do that day, activities for the kids, and so on. So,
yeah, that's hands-on experience.
Yep. Yes. Yeah. So typically, Families Leading Change being new, this is our first year being at that event, but it's been going on for a while, and typically you have about 500 to 800 people at those events. So it's a really fun experience for them. So we're hoping that we get a lot of those mini grant teams there this year.
Well, you're creating leaders.
Exactly. Yep. And that's what it's all about.
So they're leaders in their school, and we hope that they'll go on to be leaders in their neighborhoods and communities.
Yep. And then the students just think that's resume material for their career or their their college applications, or whatever they choose. So we're kind of building on that too, so these students have something to build on.
Right. So Families Leading Change came about through Try This, is that right?
Well, it came about, we're under Healthy Kids, Healthy Families Coalition, and so Try This is just one of our partners that works with Families Leading Change.
Excuse me.
Oh, yeah, it's no problem. And we do a lot of similar things, and we're kind of modeled after the Try This model because they have been successful over the past 5 years. They're doing great things. Their focus is physical activity and nutrition, and they give out mini grants as well. So we're just kind of following, their lead and trying to, with the policy change aspect. So it's a great partnership because if a parent gets an award or a student gets an award for Families Leading Change, they can come back in June if they're doing great and they want to continue and apply for a Try This grant. If it has to do with physical activity or nutrition. So it's a good partnership.
It's making change happen.
It is making change happen.
And on a statewide level.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
I love it. And I love that it's involving the younger population and getting them excited about leadership and having a voice. That's fun. I know that people could reach out to you through the website, which is familiesleadingchange.org.
Right.
And then a telephone number, 304-208-0038 would be ways to get in touch. And there's a Facebook page also,
Yes,
right?
we have a Facebook page, Families Leading Change WV. And we're hoping some of these teams can kind of post some of their pictures and things going on all throughout the year.
Well, it's been so fun to learn about this, and I wish you great success in your second and third and all the future years to come. Can't wait to hear about all the great things happening statewide. Jenny Anderson, Director of Families Leading Change, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for watching. This has been Community Connections, brought to you by the Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation. We'll see you next time.